Are you expecting any deliveries in the next 5 to 10 minutes? Perfect. We are in Fernie, and if I'm being entirely honest, I almost this morning talked myself out of this trip. The purpose of this trip is we actually have something to pick up in Montana, and so I thought it would be a good opportunity to, you know, get a few days of camping in, first of the season, etc. And I've always wanted to go in the place that's right behind me, so let's go do that first, and then I'll fill you in on what exactly is going on this weekend. So let's do that now. Ooh, that's not good. That definitely rattled open. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was me. I forgot it. So that was Fernie Brewing Company, and if you ever have the opportunity to make it down here and you're into mountain biking, they have a challenge where in 24 hours you need to ride 3 trails: hyperventilation, Project 9, and swine flu. And I'm actually told that swine flu is like rideable from essentially their parking lot. So if you did it in that order, you can finish, because after you have done all 3 in that 24-hour period, and you have to have like photo evidence to prove it. I think most people just take it at the top of the trails. However, you get a free pint, I think it is. So yeah, that's worthy of a challenge, I think. So yeah, go Fernie. And as you could probably see, like, I love all their merchandise and how it's, very like mountain bike and ski and snowboard related. Because yeah, just because it's a brewing company doesn't mean that they have to stick exclusively to, you know, beer and beer consumption related items, right? Anyways, so I mentioned that we are heading down to Montana. Tonight we're actually going to spend a night in British Columbia, and then tomorrow we're heading to a place called Upper Whitefish Lake. I haven't been, I was actually just chatting with a guy at Fernie Brew Co., and he has been, and he said it's a little bit more remote than some of the other options, but it is the American long weekend this weekend, so we might end up running into a bit of trouble. Fingers crossed everything works out well for us, so we'll have to maybe get a bit of an earlier start tomorrow. So yes, we do have an item that we are going to be picking up in Montana. So the reason it is in Montana and not shipped to my home is simply just because of the Canadian-US tariff situation. Plus, we have the opportunity to do a weekend trip. So I'm calling this my Hudson's Bay start. So the fur trading company, the Hudson's Bay Company, they used to, on their first day away from the fort, do a really short day. and that forced them to take out and use their kit. And if something was forgotten or, say, broke, they were not so far that they could not go back and get a replacement. And so, with me sort of thinking, planning, hoping to be doing a much larger trip coming up, this is sort of my Hudson's Bay start. So we use the trailer, we can see what's going on. I actually already saw one piece where over the course of the winter, all the staples pulled out. I mean, it's, how sad is that? 1 year of use and the trailer is already kind of falling apart. So for now, I'm going to enjoy the drive here, and when you see me next, we will be at camp. On today's episode of Cooking with Colin, I'm doing a burger. I have a nice fresh bun for it and some toppings. However, I did get this new hot sauce for this trip. So this is Heartbeat hot sauce from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Shout out Thunder Bay. And this is their camp sauce, and it's one of their newer flavor additions, etc. I have had lots of the Heartbeat hot sauces before in the past, but I figured in honor of being the first camping trip, has like a, I'm salivating, I'm so hungry. Has like a tomato sauce smell to it. Oh, wow. Oh, it's dynamic, and it's got a bit of a kick. Whoo! Wow. Oh, that went places. It started off sweet. Like they do this amazing pineapple hot sauce. I'm not a big pineapple fan, but their pineapple hot sauce is incredible. Then it transitioned. There was a huge kick in the teeth. That was the spice. I think it's habanero, I want to say. Has that kind of clean yellow pepper taste to it, so I'm thinking it's habanero. All-purpose condiment for outdoor adventures, the camp sauce. I like the little logo here. I'm not sure if you can tell. So they have some trees, some mountains. It's kind of funny. Thunder Bay doesn't really have mountains. Little campfire and a tiny tent. How cool is that? What do we have for ingredients? Distilled vinegar, sugars, dates, and maple syrup. Okay. Red bell pepper, onion, jalapeno, Scotch bonnet. Okay. Olive oil, garlic, chipotle in adobo. So chipotle, peppers, water, tomato puree, there it is. Vinegar and salt, sugar, garlic, canola oil, and then malt vinegar, sea salt, smoked paprika. Man, that's good. You know what this would be amazing with is like on a burger, but with like a thick slice of an heirloom tomato. So like one of those that sort of has like that purple sort of quality to it, and I think I always call them wagon wheels, but they have like almost like a pumpkin kind of shape to them if you're looking at it. Yeah, that would be really good with that, and something deeper, heavier. Like, okay, controversial opinion. I really like sliced grilled zucchini on my burgers. I don't do it all the time, but when I do. So you take a zucchini and you slice it lengthwise, and then you grill that and put that on the burger. And I kind of use that in place of a pickle slice. So it's more savory than it has that, instead of pickled, right? So that's where I'm thinking, like kind of deeper savory sort of quality. So yeah, this hot sauce, heirloom tomato, sliced grilled zucchini. We even grilled the tomato. Oh, nice little caramelization on it. Kind of like a tomato steak, Yeah, that would be good. I'm gonna have to try that. For now, we are going pretty basic. Nice. Do I have? Oh, I don't think I brought it with me. There we go. Check my emails. Watch an episode of something. Maybe you have all of 1 bar / half a bar. This is a good use case scenario for a cell phone booster, because we're fairly heavily treed, so I'm not sure how confident I would be with the Sterling, but anyways, bon appetit.
That looks.
So we are in Montana, and we're actually heading up to a place called Upper Whitefish Lake. I am a bit concerned because apparently it's a lot more popular than I thought. The road seems very well trodden, and it is the American long weekends. So fingers crossed it's a nice quiet weekend. Yeah, anyways, I'm going to show you the map behind me and kind of give you an idea where we are and what's going on. So we're in the Stillwater forest, and we're here. I think that's where we're going. And then for context, we have the ski town of Whitefish down here. That would be cool to go explore. Flathead National Forest. Oh, here we are. The land you're standing on is ancestral to the Kootenai. Oh, very cool. And Kalispell and Salish. Oh, Salish, we're already out here. I know Salish from the coastal, well, I guess maybe coastal Salish out in British Columbia. Confederated Salish Kootenai tribes of the Flathead Indian Reservation, native people who use this area for hunting and deer gathering, huckleberries, and sustenance, and aka living their lives. In 2017, Trust for the Public Land purchased this property from a company. Oh, that's fun. And in 2018, the state purchased the land for conservation easement, expanded Stillwater State Forest by additional almost 14,000 acres. That's incredible. That's awesome work. Project partners, thanks to founders. Oh, that company that they got it from. And for his generosity and patience, made this project possible. Yeah, that's super cool. And then the expansion here, we can read about, so sustainable forest management, fish, wildlife habitat, drinking water for sure, and recreation. Efforts to return this property to the public ownership, where it will be managed under the Montana Department of Natural Resources Trust Land Mission. That's nice. Bruce's revenue for trust beneficiary complements a balance of conservation with recreation. That's so important. Balancing conservation with recreation. Timber production, that's part of sustainable forest management. Maintains the character, connectivity, and natural beauty of the forest in current, future, and generations. Very nice. That's very nice. All right, cool. Let's get in there. How amazing is this? How amazing is this? It's cool too. I don't know if you can tell. There's, well, you might have seen there's snow all up in the forest behind us here. What is life? Man, this is a great sight. Alright, I need to get this leveled out because there's definitely a bit of a... And then I'm actually going to unhook. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. Take the pressure off the truck. And, I mean, we're going to be here for a couple of days, right? So, why not? Take an extra few minutes to do it, but... I'll be honest, I don't think this is going to be enough, but this is what I'm working with. So... I mean, it's up there. It's not bad. Also lost another end cap. Looks like all my hoses are still here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 35 feet. But yeah, kids, if you have the entrepreneurial spirit, please design an end cap that is both easy to remove and install. Maybe some magnets, because this is steel, but with like a safety tether where I could perhaps drill into the bottom, and that way, you know, if it did fall off, then we can at least get it reinstalled. I would love to see something with like a cam lock, so you put it in, you close the lever, and it gets in there. Yeah. Anyways, this actually did a better job leveling it out to the side. So yeah, let's drop the tongue, get set up. Not exactly sure why. Yesterday was weird. I ended up just, shortly after I got here, I just bonked. The rain came in, and I was just kind of, you know, hanging out, which was nice. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm hoping that tonight will be better. As crazy as it is, I mean, again, there's snow all up in the forest behind us. You can see it dotting the hilltops. Now, mind you, these hilltops are not nearly as tall as the mountains that we were seeing down in Fernie. So that should give you an indication of like what kind of elevation we're at. And I can feel the crisp, cool air coming in, but like over there in the sun, I can understand why people position the table here because it's a beautiful view, but it's absolutely in the shade. But yeah, in the sun it's super nice. Like it's really nice. So anyways, I ended up, as we know, not even having a cup of coffee yesterday, in the interest of hitting the road due to sleeping in. So, cheers. Not too bad. Alright, so I thought I would show you again what the whole purpose of this trip is, and that's in the back seat. So To say this hasn't been a long time in the coming would be an understatement, and it looks like the person who I purchased this from has done an incredibly good job securing it. So let's get the old Grey Wolf knife here. There we go. So, as I open this, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I have been trying to find one of these in Canada, and actually in the States for that matter, it's almost June. 9 months, 10 months, probably longer. There are only 2 wrecked vehicles in Canada that are in the official part out online people. I don't know, somewhere in there's words. And neither of those vehicles had this optioned. There we go. Oh, little letter. Please don't be sorry, this is a brick. Oh, this is the original invoice. Cool. Nice. That was cool that they included that. Thank you, good sir. I don't know if you watched the videos. So then, I drove down to Portland like 3 months ago now. There was a guy who said he was selling one of these as part of the larger assembly, as well as some wheels and tires. And turns out, what he thought was this was a transfer case, and I can assure you they are different pieces entirely. On the way back, the Canadian Border and Protection folks thought that me getting screwed out of that trip was suspicious, which ended up resulting in my tote getting cracked by the border guard. Yeah, it was an all-around not fun experience, to say the least. However, this is it. This is a limited slip, specifically a torsion style limited slip front differential for a Ford F-150 8.8 inch. You can tell it was kicking around this guy's garage for the longest time. Yeah, there's no branding here. Now I know this is what we're looking for because, and I doubt it's going to be. Can I even see that on the camera? No. If you look in here, you can actually see the helical gears. But even just looking at the case, how sort of full it is. Like if it was an open diff, there'd be this window would be like this big, and you could see the side, what are they called? Gears, I guess, and then the open carrier in the middle. But yeah, this is a limited slip. To give you a hint, this gentleman, I'm going to block their name and their address, but they paid, can you see that there? $710. Oh, they got a discount. Oh, $710 US is regular retail price. They got a wicked discount. I don't know how. Go with them. And they ended up out the door paying $504 US. So our cost here on the channel was $350 US. So what the heck is this, and why is it worth so much damn money? This is your front differential. So we know in the F-150 we have a rear differential and a front differential. The rear differential, as is often the case and is the case here with Grey Wolf 1, is an electronic locking differential. So it defaults to an open position, meaning it will send 100% of the power to whichever wheel is easiest to spin. You might say, well, why would you want that? And the simple reason is that when you're going around turns, that outside wheel is rotating at a faster rate because it has to do a longer radius or a longer arc, or I guess wheel travel path, whatever. It has to spin faster. And to accommodate for that, it needs to be able to send power to that. If the wheels were simply affixed as you're trying to go around every little turn, the wheels would be binding. And that's what a e-locker does. So you pull that little button on the dashboard of our vehicles, and I think Ram is a button. I have no idea what GMC is. Oh no, GM doesn't have a locker. Oh, I actually didn't mean that as a joke. The what is it? The G90 or whatever it is. That's a centripetal. I think it's centripetal would be the word. Okay, I'm going with centripetal. Differential that has a bit of a reputation of exploding. I actually genuinely didn't mean that to throw shade. Although I think like if you get some of the like the ZR2 Canyon, I think those are e-lockers. Oh gosh, shots fired. Unintentional shots fired. Anyways, so you pull that button and then inside there's like a ball bearing and a ramp, and then it will basically bind those gears together because hashtag engineering, and those wheels become fixed and locked 50-50. And that is the absolute best that you want in an off-road environment. It's the most predictable. You get the best power distribution, left and right, etc., etc., right? The compromise, of course, being that in normal day-to-day sort of driving, or when you don't have that locked, for example, on the drive-in, we did not have the rear differential locked, and they will inherently disengage. I think it's like 30 miles an hour. You can get the hashtag one tire fire, where if you're on a loose gravelly surface, the wheel that has, again, the less grip, or the looser surface, it will shoot the power to, or it will send the power to, and then you end up slipping. So limited slips are good in that sense because they will distribute power left and right based on the types of mechanism. Now, there are different types of limited slips. There are clutch pack limited slips. Those often have a lifetime or an expiration associated with them. And then there's a Torsen style limited slip like this is, which is a mechanical limited slip, and it achieves its limited slip properties by using a basic principle that, I'm probably going to screw this up, but like a ring gear can't turn a worm gear, but a worm gear can turn a ring gear. I think I got that right. I probably didn't. But whatever the case is, that's where a limited slip comes in. So manufacturers put e-lockers in the back because, and I'm no different, 99% of the time we're driving on road, so having that open diff. Now, the limited slips are always on, but they can never send, or they can never lock. In fact, this particular style of limited slip is the same type of style that you would find in like the Generation 1 Hummer, so like the military version, for example. And in the military, they would actually teach you to ride the brake and apply the brake a little bit if you're getting into an undulating situation where you can hang or suspend one tire up in the air, because weirdly, and I actually don't 100% know why this is the case, but weirdly with these Torsen limited slip diffs is when there's like zero resistance on one wheel, then it will default to an open diff. So like everything in life, compromise, right? So generally speaking, in our use case scenario, where we're simply looking for more traction and we want to essentially eliminate that situation where we're getting that front tire slipping, because just because you put it in 4x4, even 4 high or whatever, or 4 low, you really, best case scenario, if you lock the rear differential, you're only getting 3-wheel drive, because whichever front wheel decides that it wants to, have the least amount of traction, the power is going to get distributed to that. This prevents that from happening. So when you put it in 4-wheel drive and you lock the rear differential, you actually have all 4 wheels getting traction. So, Torsen, front differential, 8.8, cool stuff. This is literally what this entire trip has been all about. I'm going to end up actually filming a video, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, who knows, on differential gear ratios. And I'll get into explaining why that is all up in that video, but yes, that is coming. This will have like a knock-on effect. Lots to tell, but suffice it to say, this is your inside scoop. So this was a long time in the coming. I was very happy to get it at $350 because I think that's a fantastic price, and clearly it's been sitting on this gentleman's shelf for a long time, but I'm sure that won't stop the Canadian border officials from adding the 25% tariff to protect Canadian businesses that... Anyways, I don't want to get political. I don't think anybody is happy about the current tariff situation. I'll just put it that way. So, nothing like weaponizing a population against each other, but yeah. It feels a bit surreal, but at the same time, I know how much work this is going to be and potentially money to get this all installed. So, until it's done, my face is going to look like this instead of smiling. But yeah. And yeah, apparently I need to invest in like a couple bottles of brake clean, because it's like all the way in there as well. Like, oh man. But yeah, heck yeah, this is going to improve things. I mean, I really honestly, we could have used this yesterday when we were coming in here, because there was a steep hill. I had it in 4 high. I arguably should have had it in 4 low. I want to do some more experimenting with that 4 low, and actually see what kind of speeds we can get up to once it shifts into 6th gear, because you're just going to get so much better torque. And driving in here, we were doing like, what, 25 miles an hour? So whatever that is, 40 kilometers per hour. And yeah, I'm sure we could probably do that in 4 high. It's just there was a few really punchy climbs. And I didn't want to start shifting the transfer case on a hill with the trailer and all that stuff. So I just rolled with it. But yeah, cool. Awesome. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and yeah, pack this up away, and then yeah, get on with our day. I have another project, actually. Maybe we'll go do that now. No, sir. You are the very definition of give an inch, take a mile.